Hi everybody and welcome back to Dragon Eye Creations. If you're new here, my name is Laurel and I love to create. And it's Saturday and I'm here anyway, but we have a local Renaissance fair coming up here in Edson, Alberta, and I'm really excited. I am a vendor there, so I'm trying to get as many creations together as I can. One of the things I came up with was these clay wine goblets, and I just loved how they turned out. I'm so happy with them. And they're actually really simple to make. So I really wanted to share with you guys how to make these amazing wine goblets. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start with some scrap polymer clay. I'm just mushing them all together through my pasta maker, rolling them out. If you don't have a pasta maker, that is just fine. You can just roll it out with a rolling pin. We're just going to make a straight cut on the end. And then I'm going to take just some rubbing alcohol and clean off my wine glass that I just picked up at Dollarama. And then we're going to take some Sculpey Bacon Bond, this is called. This is for polymer clay. It's just a clay adhesive. We're going to take our clay then and attach it to our wine goblet, making a little cut right at the end and smoothing out our seams there, just blending them together. A little more Bacon Bond on the stem, wrap some more clay around that. For this, I did grab a little bit extra. I wanted it a little bit thicker on this one. We don't want it to be really tight on that stem. Again, smoothing out our seams here. I did put a little cornstarch on my fingers to help smooth it out. That just helps your fingers to not stick to the polymer clay. Again, just smoothing it out all the way down. I'm going to cut out a little strip just to add to the base of the cup now, just right around the bottom of the stem there. Wrap that all the way around. Smoothing out our seams again. Then we're going to flip it upside down. Trim off our extra clay we don't need at the bottom. And then we're going to take some ball stylus tools here, and I'm just going to run those up and down our cup. We're going to do this several times with several different sizes of these. Well, not several, I guess. I think I've used 3 different size ball tools on this one. I also used a silicone tip tool, but we're just adding texture to our wood. So what we're doing is rolling that tool up and down vertically, just all over, just some shorter lines, some bigger lines, just all over the cup. Next, I took a silicone mold. I got this off of Amazon. I will leave you guys a link in the description. So this is all about mold. So really whatever mold speaks to you, that is the mold you get, and that's the mold you can put on your cup. So we're just going to now place this as a nice face mold I got. So I'm just going to put that right on our wood texture we made. And I'm just going to smooth that all out now with this silicone tip tool. Just all around your clay, smoothing out those seams. And then I took a leaf mold. This has several different size leaves. I really like this mold. I use this one a lot actually. I will leave a link for this one as well. So for this, I just started by putting some leaves just at the top of her head first of all, kind of like a crown. I was trying to decide how I'm going to do them. I knew I didn't want it right flat against there, so I did play around and just make sure it wasn't quite flat. Adding a couple more just big leaves right at the top there. Smoothing out the back just with your knife if you need to, if you've got too much clay. And just keep attaching those with your tool, making sure they're stuck nice and tight. I did just fill up the whole mold then, and we're going to have leaves of all different sizes now. So I'm just going to start placing those all around the top of her head. Some of the smaller ones right at the base. And then I started placing them at the bottom as well, so they're kind of coming up, growing up vertically around her face there. Adding some more texture once again. I went over and did this a few times. I like a lot of texture in my wood, and when you paint it later, you'll see how it just comes right out and shows so nice. Then I just smoothed out the very top of the cup where the clay meets the glass, and we're just going to smear that in so it kind of blends together. Next, I took more leaves and we started adding more leaves to the bottom. Pressing them in with your tool. I also took some leaves in groups of 2 and I just kind of put them all over the cup. One big and one little is basically what I did, not completely, but just to add some more definition and textures. Some more texturing. For the tree looks, it's really about texturing and your mold. So now we're going to bake this up at 130 degrees for 30 minutes. Next, I'll show you really quick just how I threw this one together as well, just to show you guys how you can change it up just depending on the molds you want to use. So for this one, because we're not doing a tree texture, I did try to smooth it out best I could. We don't want it completely smooth though, because we do want it to resemble a goblet. I then use this mold here. This is a shield mold, so I use this one along with a sword mold, and I put 2 shields on this one and 2 swords, so the shields are across from each other, and then I put the swords also across from each other. Just placing them right on the clay there. The swords are a little trickier, these molds, because they're a little narrow, so you've got to try to get them on nice and straight. You got to play with it a little bit more, but you can do it. Okay, so now this is all cooled off after baking it, so we are going to start covering the whole thing with this black Mars paint. It is not quite a real true black, but I really like this one for actually my bottom undercoats, but you can use a regular black if you like. It is totally up to you. So I'm just going to cover the whole thing. All the clay parts that we did are going to be covered with this black paint. And once we have the whole thing coated and it has dried off, we are now going to go over it with some brown paints. This is first a really dark brown I'm going to go over it with. And we're just going to do a rough paint over the whole wood texture now. Just rough as in we want it to be coated, but we still want some of that black to kind of show through. So it's just a rough paint, we'll call it. Making sure also we do cover her face. We want that to look like wood as well. So just going over our wood texture, we're not going to be doing the leaves right now. We will paint those up with some green paint later. Next, we will go over with some lighter brown. So once it's all dried, we will take some light brown and just dry brush that over, just helping to make our texture show through. We're going to cover all of our wood texture once again with this lighter brown. Then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to our lighter brown. And go over that once again. This is just going to be even a lighter dry brush over. So I just dry brushed over it again a couple times, just each time lightening up my paint just a little bit, just to really show off all those textures. And then I painted all of our leaves a dark green and then dry brushed over that once again with a light green. So a lot of dry brushing involved to get your beautiful textures and colors. So there you have it. It really is all about what colors you want to put into it, what molds you use, and what design you want to have. It is your own goblet. It is your imagination. I, of course, have a favorite. It is my dragon one. I love this dragon one, and I'll be making more. So there we have it. You can see by just changing up your molds a little bit and your colors when you're done painting them, you can really make these wine goblets your own, creating your very own creation. Thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you like this tutorial. It is something a little different, so let me know in the comments what you think. I would love to hear from you. And thanks again for the support. I am so happy to have you all here with me. And until our next creation, love to all.